Anyway, not many people are listening, so it is not an issue, but still.
No, we should not.
Yeah, you never know when it become viral, right? So
You don't know. Nothing can be said about anything.
yeah, correct. So let us be careful.
Yes. Okay, so now we are into the 330th verse. So this whole chapter talks about Savikalpa Samadhi. So what it does is that whatever is there in the mind gets established immediately. So it's all about being alone and being yourself without anything. So let's say if I am feeling I need someone, then I am very far away from the Savikalpa Samadhi. If I don't require anyone at all and I am contented with however it is, meaning if I am seeing a person or if I am interacting with a family member or whatever, it doesn't make me feel that I am interacting with them, whereas it seems like I'm interacting with myself. Then we are in oneness. So jivitaha yasya kaivalyam videhi saha cha kevalaha yat kinchit pashyataha bhedam bhayam bhruti yajuhu shrutihi. So while living, jivitaha yasya kaivalyam. So this is a state of non-dual. That is, you are literally in Brahman where there is no need for another. So let's say today none of my family members are there and I don't expect that a family member should be there, and there is no concept of a family member at all, then I am in Kaivalya.
So Vilas, this is Savikalpa Samadhi or Nirvikalpa Samadhi?
No, from Savikalpa you are going into Nirvikalpa. So he takes you from one to another. So he yeah, go ahead.
So when you are feeling, when you feel that you don't need any family members and you're alone and you're interacting with others and you feel it, you're interacting with yourself, that itself is a Nirvikalpa Samadhi, right?
Yes, that feeling is Nirvikalpa, but still that I-ness would be there. So you are going from Savikalpa, that is you are imagining right now that I don't have any family member, to really feeling that you don't have a family member.
Okay.
So that is.
So imagine, when you imagine means I is there.
Yes. When you imagine there is I. So when, let us say in my case, somebody opens this door and comes and I immediately recognize it is my wife. And then what happens? So samsara is created then and there.
Okay.
Now I might pretend that she is not my wife.
Yeah, that you after thought you will, since you know, then you will imagine. Not.
Yes. Yeah. But it should be instantaneous. And that is what Kaivalya is all about.
Okay.
So he doesn't have anything to do with the body or with the mind or anything or somebody's mind and all that, because it is this way. The mind has wife, but the body doesn't have the wife. First thing.
Right.
Or husband. So you are naming something just because you have been told that it is your wife or husband or son or daughter or whatever it is. Now we also know that because of marriage we are called as husband and wife. Otherwise there was no concept of husband and wife. But the mind is so much engrossed in that concept that it is unable to let it go. So it has its own imagination of its availability, meaning this is my family member. So in your case, if you were to look at your sister and father and brother and all the members who are assembled, and you are one with them without identifying that this is my sister and brother and father and etc. I mean, not afterthought.
Yeah, it really is understood.
then you are in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So then,
otherwise you are in Savikalpa Samadhi.
yeah, so he is taking us from 330th verse to 341 verse, where it will be Nirvikalpa.
Okay. So from Savikalpa, how to go to Nirvikalpa? That's what he's saying.
Yes. Good question. But you have any question on this?
No, we can go ahead.
Okay. So, yat kinchit pashyataha bhedam. So the distinction, duality is not there, even a little bit. So the duality here is husband and wife. It's dual. Consciousness is one, but the name it takes is dual. So when a physical body comes, I am not recognizing it as a physical body. I am recognizing it as a wife or a husband or a brother or a sister or a mother or a father or son or a daughter and this and that. Just for a minute, let's say you don't recognize, not by force. You just don't recognize. Then what happens? Just like on the road, somebody is walking and you don't recognize that person because you don't know that person. So there is nothing which is happening inside you. The person moves away and you don't feel anything about it. For that person, bhayam bruti yajuhu shrutihi. For him, there is no fear of returning back into samsara because he doesn't recognize. And that is said by Yajurveda. That's what Shankaracharya is demonstrating with the Vedic reference. So by now we should be able to do this. Whenever we see somebody, we should be able to recognize that person and also de-recognize it immediately. And only recognize it as a person rather than the relationship of the person. The fear is the relationship. So if we can cut the relationship, you are done. Yeah, but you wanted to say something?
No, I'm fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
I just transferred to my laptop from the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, that is true. So when you are in relation like husband, son, daughter, or mother, father, then is when you feel that misery or happiness in your mind. If it is somebody whom you don't know or you don't recognize, it doesn't impact you. So if you consider everybody like that, then there is no misery at all.
yes, there was a classic question by Padma Shri some time ago, saying that when somebody in the hospital, do we do something to somebody or do we do to the very near and dear ones, etc. This is so I didn't answer at that point in time because this shloka answers that.
Yeah, you will do equally to all.
Because
That's a natural reaction you will give.
yes,
If
because
you are in that.
yes, because there is no you other than anything else. So everybody is you only.
Right.
So there is no distinction between me and she and he and this and that. It's all the same.
Correct.
Then he says, now he's bringing back to Savikalpa. He says in 331 verse, if you are dual, yada kada va api vipaschit ishaha brahmani anante api अणुमात्र भेदम पश्यति अतः अमुष्या भयम तदैव यत् वीक्षितं भिन्नतया प्रमादात्. So whosoever is supposed to be a very wise man, that means he has understood Brahman Satya Jagat Mithya. Even for him, Brahmani anante api anumatra bhedam pashyati. Even if he sees a difference at an atomic level, forget about the gross level. ataha amushya bhayam, then it immediately brings in fear of dissolution. Tadaiva yat vikshitam bhinnataya pramada. Due to pramada, indolence or carelessness, which is not seen, he is bringing it as truth. So just like a rope and a snake. So he's saying that the person now believes that there is a snake instead of a rope, while there was only a rope from the beginning. That means there was no relationship from the beginning at all. It was an assumed relationship and an assumed person. But even an atomic level, if there is that differentiation between me and him, I am going to suffer, because that is a mistake. So we are always dual. We cannot be non-dual. No matter whether we are Shankaracharya followers or not, life is dual. So in that way, Brahman Satya, Jagat Satya. Because you cannot come out of these names, whatever we have coined, even though we do our best effort to come out of it. It's not possible. So then he says, then the only thing you can do is, in duality, you please go through scriptures only. Shruti, Smriti, Nyaya, Shataihi, Nishiddhe, Drishye, Atra Yaha, Swatma Matim Karoti, Upaiti, Dukkopari, Dukkhajatam, Nishiddha Karta, Sa Mali Muluchaha Yataha. Yeah, Lata, you wanted to say something?
No.
Okay. So he says, by hundreds, Shataihi, of Shruti, Smriti and reasoning, Nishiddhe Drishye, whatever you are seeing is said to be not real. Nishiddha means you have been told to forbid or not to take it. Atrayaha swatma matim karoti. Now the problem with this human being is, he brings the world to be true and he identifies himself with it. So an example I could give is, now we are working in an organization. We are working in an organization because we have to earn for a living, not because of anything. So when we come out of the organization, that is from the time in the morning till we go really to the office, either virtually or physically, we are not supposed to be talking about office, no matter how much is the compulsion, because that is Jagat. It is Mithya, because you are not yet gone into that operation theater, and all the 8 to 9 hours whatever we are working on the different thing, we are literally bringing out filth. There is nothing else apart from filth what we see. So every project has a problem, every project has a delay, every person has some or the other problem. Either there is a skill problem, or there is a will problem, or there is a understanding problem, or it is something. So there are challenges just like a human body. Every day there is some or the other kind of pain in the body. So the job of a doctor is to not to get involved with the pain of the person, but to just correct whatever best he can do. In the same way, if we believe that we are surgeon whose job is to cut open a project, fix whatever possible, you know for sure nothing can be fixed 100%, you are doing your best effort, put that best effort forward. Don't talk about the organization, either in the organization or outside the organization. That is from morning till the time I go to office, no office talk. While at office, no personal talk, only look at the operation theater and whatever patients are coming, you address them. Once you come out of that office, whether physically or virtually, throw the laptop and sit. No mail checking, no answering, no doing this, no just going through 1 or 2 emails and trying to figure out what needs to be done for tomorrow. If we don't do that, then we are already in the world. That means this world is going to continue forever. So no matter what the Shruti says, we are literally going against the Shruti itself. So he says, Upaiti dukkhaupari dukkha jatam nishiddha karta sa malimulunchaha yataha. For one who is indulging in something which is forbidden, he is no better than a thief, because it is forbidden. You shouldn't be doing that. So, in 3 parts, first part of the morning is for you on not identifying with the family, not identifying with the job. The second part of life is for the work, where you are not identifying the family and you are not and then finish the work like a surgeon. And the third part of life, when we return back to home, that part of the that part of the time is split between the family to talk and whatever it is, and then finally retire in a solace without having family life or work life. And that is what happens in deep sleep. There is no family and there is no work. Both are removed. That is the reality. So that state is nirvikalpa. In between state, what we are doing is savikalpa. But what we have done is that we are not even savikalpa, we are literally in the world. Now another thing is that if we are already satisfied with whatever we have done so far, there is no point in spending 8 hours on an operation theater, because we have already known what that operation is all about. And we've been doing it for long. So if the children are settled and age has progressed and everything has happened, there's nothing more to do, then you can use that 8 hours or 9 hours in contemplation rather than working. This is a choice one can make. But if it is not, so for indulging in something which is forbidden, that person is no lesser than a thief. So he is cheating himself or herself by indulging in the world outside. So now the question comes, does that mean we should not be working? It's a wrong question. The right question is, how long should one work? So long as one has completed his or her responsibility of family. Now what should I do after that? You go through the Smriti and the Shruti and finish your journey. Because there is no point in continuing to do the same operation in next life. It makes no tremendous sense. So if we do not do it, the consequence of that is very grave. Because we are going to get into grief very soon. If the children were to die in front of the parent, it is unbearable, because the children are already made in the mind. Or if the child loses the job and then comes back to the father and mother and says that I don't have a job, the parent feel that, oh, why this has happened, why that has happened. So then lot of discussions and all that. Or if the child is divorced and that girl or whatever it is has come home and wants to settle back at the parents, then you have another problem. So lifelong this challenge is going to be there. Meaning to say, if it works, it works. It doesn't work, then the only dukkha is what you get. So why this problem started? Because we kept on identifying it to be something very great thing we are doing by attaching to the family and to the work. So in Nirvikalpa, if we were to do, then there is no family, there is no work. You just do your karya, no karma. Meaning, talking about office is a karma. Talking about a family member is a karma. Both are same. You have operation to be done at home with relationship of wife and husband and children, etc., etc. Something will work and something will not work. And then when we go to the office, something will work and something will not work. But both are operations only. Until everyone goes to sleep, each one of them are operating something or the other. Nobody knows why they are always in operation theatre. But that is where we love to be. But we are now really seeing that we are indeed in operation theatre, or from the day one we were in operation theatre, operating something or the other. So we are always trying to operate something and maintain that. So relationship is failing, so you operate and you maintain. Work is failing, so you operate and maintain. Like that. And ultimately you are going to lose the work, meaning it's called as retirement, where the person becomes so challenged in life that once he retires, the person would love to do something to continue, which is the worst punishment somebody can have. In fact, that person should get retired much before the official retirement age in his mind. He might continue on the work, that is separate, he or she, but in the mind that person is already retired. And it's just passing his time between the what is called as family or what is called as work. So
Yeah.
good.
Okay. So this is not applicable for all, because everybody wouldn't want this liberation to happen.
Yes.
So the mind has to mature, and it has to come naturally to the conclusion that, okay, no, I don't need this anymore. I want the other side. Then only real walking on the path starts.
Yes, absolutely.
Until that time is only just like spiritual entertainment. You discuss this and that and so on. So unless and until that mind comes, so I think in Bhagavad Gita also it was told, right?
Yes.
Should not disturb people who are enjoying the worldly life.
Yes.
So let them enjoy.
Let them
not
enjoy.
try to force.
Yes. But
Okay.
if you want to be on the other side, you have to cut the relationship in the mind.
Right. So that I got. So now when we are seeing a GV, when you see the other person and not a relationship, what is that? It is one step below Savikalpa Samadhi.
It is Savikalpa Samadhi, not below.
Okay.
Because you are... Yeah, go ahead.
So I was thinking that when you see somebody, if you are able to see that that you or that awareness in those people every time, then that is Savikalpa Samadhi.
No, it's not like that, Lata. It's like, say, even though I call you Lata, but whenever I see you as a being in the samsara struggling like me.
Yes.
That is Savikalpa, because you are able to imagine instantly. Fine. You are able to instantly imagine it, right? Nirvikalpa is what? There is no Lata, there is no Vilas, it is only consciousness.
Only that one undivided consciousness, yes.
Exactly. But is it possible for me to see in that way?
Right now, no.
No. So that is the problem. Why?
I am in that other step.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are coming to that next step. That is, you are right at present in Savikalpa only.
Right.
Meaning, we have already left the Jagat. But
Yes.
Jagat is such that it brings you back. Through
Yeah,
some way
correct.
or
It
the other.
is bringing you back every now and then. Yes.
See, yesterday there was a meeting. We attended the meeting. So immediately after the meeting, we are not going to cut it off, right?
Yeah.
We are going to look at what all needs to be done, even though the meeting is gone. Meeting is over.
Mm.
But the mind will relish the moments or will suffer with those moments, saying that, oh, this one is not okay, that one is not okay, etc. Because it is seeing itself and the other. So that is dual.
Mm.
So once the duality comes, fear comes.
Mm.
So there is a fear of failure of project or of the assignment or whatever we have taken, and the fear then causes lot of worry on the appraisals and salary increase and promotions and all of that, which are part of Jagat. So,
Right.
so my 9 hours plus 9 hour plus whatever I'm going to spend, I'm spending only on these activities, saying that there is this person coming, he's coming from that country, so I need to make things presentable, and this one and that one, let me present this, that, so many things. Even though that person might come, but he might not be interested in whatever I'm showing him. Or his or her agenda might be totally different. But the mind feels that I have to do all of this. At that moment, you are not in Savikalpa Samadhi either. We are in total Jagat.
Yeah, so if you are involved in any of your work totally, and then that moment you are not in Savikalpa Samadhi. Agreed.
Yes. So now I start doing the work with an expectation how I need to impress this person or that person, or get this done, get that work done, etc. So that is called as world, Loka.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when does a Savikalpa Samadhi happens? When you know that you are presenting to yourself. There is no other person whom you are presenting it to.
Mm.
Then it is Savikalpa Samadhi.
Mm.
And when Nirvikalpa happens, there is neither you nor him.
Mm.
So you don't have to prepare anything at all.
Yeah, correct. Spontaneously it will come.
Spontaneously, whatever has to come will come.
Yes.
So there is no fear now. There is no anxiety.
Mm.
Savikalpa Samadhi has an anxiety, if not fear.
Mm.
Because you don't want to lose yourself. Correct? Even if you know that another person is a GV, but you don't want to lose that person.
Yeah.
In Nirvikalpa, there is no GV at all.
Mm.
That's what he is saying. So, whenever we are in duality, abide by the scriptures. Otherwise, you are going into a forbidden territory, which is not good for anyone. The forbidden. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so now, okay, maybe we are now and then, or most of the time, in Savikalpa Samadhi, and then sometimes when you are deeply involved in some work, maybe not all, then you are not in Savikalpa Samadhi either. So now what we have to do is first try to be in that Savikalpa Samadhi 24 hours, all the waking hours, and then slowly it will transform itself into Nirvikalpa.
Samadhi, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
See, 3-step process. First, recognize that you are not the world.
Yes.
That's the first step. That means when I say somebody is my father, it's a role designation than anything else.
Right.
I need to keep on telling to myself. So I need to see what really is happening between a father and a son. They both are playing a role.
Mm.
Now that I have to do next step. The second step is to understand that I am a GV doing something here, and he is also another GV doing something.
Yes.
And the two of us might be doing the same thing or different things, but we are doing something.
Right.
So there is nothing to get agitated or happy. Both are not required. So raga is also not there, dvesha is also not there. Because this is a field, this place is a field where a being comes and it will display whatever it wants to display.
Right.
So this is second step. Third step, who is the one who is doing these actions? It is the consciousness alone.
Yes.
So there is no doer.
Right.
In the Savikalpa Samadhi, there is a doer. In the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there is no doership at all.
Yeah, correct. That's completely gone.
It's
Yes.
completely gone. If there is no doership, then there is nothing called as role play or responsibility or this or that. Nothing.
Yeah, correct. Correct. So in Bhagavad Gita, we have this role play
Yes.
kinds. That
Yes.
you're playing a role of a mother, you're playing a role of different things, and then you look at from that.
Yes.
But in the next step, even though that's also not there, only that consciousness is there.
Yes, and that is the reason in the second chapter, Krishna says that Atma can never be destroyed because he is using Atma in that sense, not in the sense of a person.
Yeah, correct. I understood.
Yeah, but the problem is that we misinterpret Atma to be something as a soul which is there in a person. It is there in everyone. It is not only there in one person. It is the same Atma is there in everyone. So
Right.
there is only one person, not 100%. So it is like a mirror example which is fallen and 100 pieces are there and each one will say I. But it is no 100 I. There is only one I.
Yeah, correct. So this I am sense is same in everybody. It's not
Exactly,
different.
exactly. Including a mosquito, it has I am. So that's the reason.
Yeah, correct.
That's the reason it will try to escape death.
Yeah, everything will try. Everything which feels I am will try to escape death.
Exactly. So if we see this in motion, including bacteria to Brahma, B to B is the same.
Yes.
They don't want to die because that consciousness which is established would like to exist as itself, but it cannot because it's an established consciousness. So the Nirvikalpa Samadhi is when you give up that interest of being separate. Instead, you are everyone. Then the experience is fantastic.
That is the very tough first step.
Yes, so the jump. You can go up to Savikalpa, but what about Nirvikalpa? How do you jump?
That jumping is the thing which we are not. First, you have to first establish in Savikalpa full time, and then we can think about jumping.
Yes, that's correct.
So I guess it naturally will follow.
Yes,
if you are able to do that.
Yes, and you have to be consciously doing that all the waking hours.
Right. So I think it's in our hands only. So you just have to remember and then do it.
Correct.
As a nature, your own nature. If you are putting an effort, it becomes like an activity. So it has to happen on its own, and then the other one will happen.
Yes, so in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there is Pramana, Viparyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, Smritaya. So this he calls it as modification and non-modification. Klishta, Aklishta. Okay, so Pramana is measurement. You can measure, the moment you put a measurement, you are in Loka. Viparyaya is hallucination. Nidras, Pramana, Viparya, Vikalpa, imagination. So we are coming into Savikalpa Samadhi, the imagination. Nirvikalpa is no imagination. So Viparyaya, Nidra, Smritaya. So Nidra is sleep. So indolence is sleep. And Smriti is memory. So if we can keep on remembering our family, work, this project, that one, this I did this way, that way. But no person, when he started his career, will think that after he quits the company, he will not be speaking about it. Forget retirement. Even if he were to quit the company in next 2 years and he got another offer, so he forgets all about that previous company.
Right, that's true.
And when he was in that company, he was jumping around on projects. But when he quits the company, when he gives his resignation letter and it is accepted, he cares a damn about the same project or a product.
Yes.
In fact, he will try to do something which will destroy that product rather than making it good. So he will not do a KT transfer. He will ensure that he talks in a very nonsense ways and all that, because he now knows that nobody can bind him. So if there is a 90 days notice period, ultimately he will try to negotiate and get out at 30 days or 45 days or whatever. Then he goes on a holiday for another 15-20 days, and then he joins that organization, new organization. So the person who was so involved with that project, once he quits the job, is least interested. Just imagine if this were to happen at the time of death. Same thing, right?
Yeah, it is the same thing. You will be least interested in your family, relationship, whatever you have.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So the smriti memory should be that each day is death. So our life is shutting off every day. We are not gaining anything, we are losing. And going into a new dream state whenever appropriate. Meaning this body will go away and another body will be replaced. And the continuity is there. So he is a thief because he is doing something what he shouldn't be doing. He has gone into the forbidden area.
Yeah. Correct.
So we need to practice this savikalpa and then getting into nirvikalpa. So when I
And also your thoughts, whatever you are thinking, also should not go to dwell on projects, office, or any family related stuff. So you should not try to go over there and keep on thinking about that. So that is also another form of, anyway, everything happens in the mind. So whether it happens really outside or you think and do something, it is the same.
Yes, it is the same effect. Let's say my son has got an award. So I make it a big thing. So I'll put it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and this place, that place, and whomever I meet, I'm going to say, you know, my son has won award for Ayurveda. He did this, did that, and so many things. During that process, during that time, what has happened? From Nirvikalpa, I've come to world duality. So I exist, and my son also exists. I am thinking it is me who has built up my son, and that is the reason he has got the award. So if somebody were to say, wow, so nice, I have seen you, how you did parenting from childhood, you were so you are so disciplined, and that is the reason your son could reach to this height, I feel so elated. I'm the most...
but even if you don't put in Facebook, Twitter and all that...
mentally, if I do that much...
Mentally, if you are thinking, okay, I am so happy that he got something and you feel proud about it, the same effect is anyway created. Exactly.
So it doesn't matter whether I tell this to someone or I don't inform anyone at all. Both are same. And
both are effectively same, yes.
Both are same and both will give me rebirth consciousness.
Yep.
So I'm supposed to end the journey, whereas I'm creating more and more journey while I do this everyday meeting and say that we should do this, we should do that, but by myself, I'm not doing it. So I become only a preacher, but not a person who is practicing.
Yeah.
So I and Bhatt had attended this one. I think you had also attended. So that person was explaining the way he was explaining. But if you remember, that person who was talking about yoga. So the way he was talking showed that he himself is a yoga. So he marketed it. So if you want, you can come to me. I will teach you this, I will teach you that. So now he has come into the world. So from Nirvikalpa to Savikalpa, from Savikalpa to Loka. So once we are in Loka, we are already in trouble. It is going to bring in new and new lives.
Mm.
So he gives here 333rd verse, he says that let us test. Satya abhisandhana rataha vimuktaha mahatvam atmiyam upaiti nityam mithya abhisandhanah ataha tu nashyet drishtam tat etat yat achayura churayoho satya abhisandhana. One who is on the path of finding the truth, rataha vimuktaha, is always vimukti, is always free. Mahatvam atmiyam upaiti nityam. Nitya is eternal. Mahatvam, he has attained something. Atmiyam, that is, he has seen what the Atma is all about. Mithya abhisandhanah, he who dwells on the unreal. Ataha tu nashyet, by that itself he is indeed destroyed. Drishtam tat etat yat, that is so how it is illustrated. Chaurayoho. It shows chora means thief. Who is a thief and who is not a thief? One who indulges into this world is a thief. One who does not indulge into the world at all is not a thief. So what does that mean? The moment I identify she is my wife, no matter how much Vedanta I have learnt, I am a thief. I am cheating myself. What is that I am cheating? If she dies, I am going to suffer. Simple. So I have cheated myself. Now, why do parents suffer when their children go abroad or they go elsewhere on job? Because they don't know exactly what to do now. And this is how the middle age crisis starts. So it starts at around 45 or 50, and when the person is in his 60s, when there is no other job to be done, the person would like to find a job now. Whether it is a male or a female, it doesn't matter. Now that person wants to do something, so he will say, I will do gardening, I will do this, I will go out, or I will go on a religious places pilgrimage, I'll visit this place, that place, let me go here, go there, let me visit my children, etc., etc., etc. Because he is dwelling on that unreal. He will never get it, no matter how much that person tries. And I have seen, including my own father, when he got retired, his mind was stuck. He didn't know what to do. So the first few months, he couldn't let go of his talks about his office. So whichever colleague came just to meet him, he used to talk for hours together, explaining how it was. And they used to come to the home to discuss about what can be done. So he used to give sermons after sermon, how this should be done, how that should be done, and he wasted his time. So 1999 he came out of it. 2010 he departed from this place. So hardly 11 years. In 11 years I could see his deterioration of mind, because he didn't know what to do after retirement. So this is how mithya kills that person. So each one of us feel that after 60 we can still be engaged in something or the other, and we want to be working till we die. That is even more worse punishment we can give to this consciousness. And when it is time, the consciousness just moves away, and the mind has nowhere to go except for following into the next life and doing the same thing. So, am I not a thief who is stealing so many things and then not even repenting even once that all that I have stolen will be removed one day? That is how it is. So it's like a heated axe. You will come to know which will break and which will not.
Yeah, so at that point of time, however, your what do you say, mental impressions are there. So the mind will helplessly follow that.
Exactly.
You can't change anything. It goes off. You feel that you can control, but then you cannot control unless and until you are a yogi.
Yes, so becoming a yogi is the most important thing. So the thing is, at the time of death, all that what is there in the memory will come and it will take that person into the next life.
Yeah, it will play out.
It will play out.
Before the death itself will start playing out.
Yes, it plays out.
And if you are not that very conscious, so whatever is in your deepest memory will come out and express in some form or the other.
Yes, and the person goes there.
Yeah.
Simple. And just like we go into dream state, you are not forcing a dream, it just comes. And you are helpless.
Yeah, it just comes.
And a person is helpless. He can't change the dream. He can't say, I don't want to see this dream. No way.
Yeah, you are forced to see it, yes. So just like that you go. So it depends. So you cannot, so that rewiring of the mind or transforming the mind has to already happen now.
Yeah.
Then only that time when you are not, what do you say, not in your good health, it will help.
Right. I totally forgot that I was supposed to close at 9:15. I had to go out.
Okay, fine. So fine.
Okay, so we will meet up tomorrow.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.